Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about Underwater Labs and Tug Boat update. Yes, we now have new information and release dates happening for all this stuff. Very exciting. We are talking about Rust Console Edition for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, next generations, and everything in between. And I'm Jade Monkey. Okay, so yeah, big news. So officially from Double 11, we have word that subs and labs are coming May 30th, 2024 on that update to main branch, also known as normal Rust. This has been cooking over on PTB for roughly a month. And also, it looks like tugboats are coming in on testing branch about a week after that, latest probably 2 weeks. So it doesn't look like we're going to get it this Thursday or Friday, but it looks like we'll get it like sometime next week, is my guess. And it's just really exciting to finally see all of this stuff finally come to fruition, right? Like it's finally coming in. So yeah, Tugboats looks like it's going to be cooking on PTB for roughly a month, and then it should hit main branch by the end of June. There's a bit of a typo on the dev blog. I do believe they mean June and not July, because it kind of offsets their whole content schedule for this year. So I'm going to say it's June 27th is when this is planned to be on main branch. So all of this goes together because the hard counter to Tugboats is Submarines. So yeah, it's massive. Like this brings in new vehicles, yes, like obviously the duo submarine, you see it right here, and even the solo submarine over yonder. They do shoot torpedoes. I'm pretty sure the dev blog covers some of this, but yeah, like not only can you stash loot in the back, but you can also tool around on the water, which is awesome. I mean, think about it. You can shark cargo ship. You can now shark things like, I don't know, oil rig. It's fantastic. And you can also do the same thing with the tugboat. And it is essentially a mobile base. I mean, just look how silly this is. We'll go over more of this in the future here. But, I mean, look at that. You've got a spawn point here. You can have, like, a fridge. It's crazy. And here's a little tip, and I'm sure we'll cover this again at some point, but even if these things get sunk, they survive on the bottom of the ocean for like 2 or 3 hours, so you can actually go back with the scuba kit and recover your gear. So not only is it a mobile base, but it's something you can recover. But it can also be rated. Let's not forget that, because doors and rust are meant to be blown off. Am I right? Okay, so let's go ahead and go through the dev blog, and we'll cover some more over here as we start to peel it back. All right. Alright, it says Devblog 28, Aquageddon survivors this month. We're excited to release Phase 1 of Aquageddon to main branch for Rust Console Edition. Get ready for some new underwater adventures that totally stir up the way you experience the game, from new vehicles to new monuments. This update has some amazing new features to explore. Stay tuned to the end of the devblog so you don't miss a beat. As we covered earlier, it says submarines are the new vehicle type in this update, letting you plunge into the deep waters surrounding the island. You can be armed with torpedoes for battling other subs, sharks, and even boats on the surface. Powered by low-grade fuel, they offer up to 10 minutes of dedicated oxygen, easily replenished by surfacing. Available for purchase at the fishing village, there are 2 types. The solo sub, great for lone adventurers. The duo sub, which is more resistant, offers the space for a second survivor and comes equipped with sonar radar. Both subs feature compartments for stashing loot accessible from the rear. A little pro tip here. Whoops. As we kind of step through here, as we had some questions, and I think they're solid questions, where people are like, hey, can you store these over time? Yes, if there's a roof over the top of them, they will survive indefinitely. Like, there's not even a slow decay. Like, you can just keep this there. And here's the other kicker, too. They really only fit in a 2x1 with squares, not the triangles, because I know you can fit boats in on the, like, 2 triangles next to each other, but this one has to be like so. And also, a little thing we kind of discovered is it does need a lot of headroom when you dismount. If there's no room to get out of the top, you essentially can't leave the sub. So another tip, if you're in the underwater labs and you somehow like get this thing stuck under the labs, you'll have to push it to the side to actually enter it again or exit. So, you know, keep that in mind. So the best way to do a sub pen is to make sure you have a 2x1, and there's square, and then you have the entrance at the bottom below the water level, and actually have about, you know, 1 square above it so you can dismount. Just saying, that's the thing. But you can keep them indefinitely. And also, the devblog didn't cover this, or it will cover the fishing village, but they cost, let me go ahead and take this off, it's a little crazy. The solo sub is 200 scrap, and the duo sub is 300 scrap, and you do buy them at the fishing village. Again, I'm pretty sure they'll cover it here. Well, some of it. If you want to get your hands on one of the submarines, yeah, here we go. Be sure to visit the fishing village, where you'll be able to exchange them for scrap. See, I'm already on it. Controlling a submarine should be intuitive, but in case you need an extra hand, here's the control scheme for when you're piloting one. Now, I think this is a little confusing for a second, because I believe this little guy right here is actually the diagram for the boats. And it's also worth noting that our boats now, it does, in order to move them, it's up on your left thumbstick, because before it was our left or right triggers on the side. So that's changed. I think it's so we can auto run, essentially, right? And it's also going to be a key factor for the tugboat, because think about it. You want to be able to hit the throttle and then step outside and board things like the cargo ship or other tugboats or attack submarines, especially if you're solo. Like, think about it. You automatically run, you step out here, you're like, boop, 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 boop. Beep, 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 beep. So that's why they made that change. So just know that the rowboats also have that change. It's going to take you a second to adjust because, you know, we're so used to hitting the left or right. Anyways, okay. Back in here, accelerate forward here. Again, that diagram. And then this pertains to the submarines itself. And it looks like our auto run is like at the outer extent. So if you push it all the way forward and hold it for a while, then it should go. And then if you hold it all the way back, it should go in reverse. So yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? And also, if you are using these underwater and you hit the labs, it will start to knock down some of the health. So, you know, pro tip. Okay, scrolling down. Underwater labs. And this is significant. And I will try to maybe hammer this home a bit further as we go through here. The next addition to the monument roster of Rust Council Edition are underwater labs. They're unlike anything you've encountered before. Not only do you need underwater transportation to reach them, or a scuba tank minimum, but they're also procedurally generated, making each one a unique experience for different servers throughout the wipe. So yes, if your map seed is different, you will have a different configuration for labs. Think Minecraft seeds, right? It's like that. So you can have like very easy configurations, very hard configurations, but like the loot spawns in here so often, it's always worth it. And I think this is really geared towards people like solos or small groups. Yes, large groups can hit this, but I think they're more apt to hit things like oil rig, cargo ship, or launch site. Just saying. I think this is really for the smaller groups or the solos, to be perfectly honest. We've been playing this for a month over on testing, so. To access these labs, you'll need to locate one of two moon pools. Technically, there's 3 moon pools. There's 2 types. There's the small entrance for people, and then there's a one singular large entrance for a submarine in most cases. It says allows one submarine parking, while the other is smaller and would require you to swim. Either way, there'll be lights at the bottom, so you should be able to see them. Beware, there are new types of scientists that patrol this facility, ready to confront intruders. And without giving away too much, just know that they're very aggressive. It's not the one that's going to get you. It's going to be the 5 friends behind him. And also, they open doors. So, heads up. Inside, expect a variety of loot depending on your lab's unique layout. You'll encounter puzzle rooms and ample crates to loot. They're not kidding. Actually, the junk piles or the loot piles will be different prefabs. Like, they'll look different. So really kind of look all over the place to pick them up, because they'll be things you're not used to seeing. Okay, so as for a real test of skill, don't miss the recreational room. I think it's called the Cantina, where you'll challenge yourself to beat the high score in the Chippy Arcade. Yes, this is real. This exists in the game as like part of the monument. A little fun fact, Chippy is actually a game that Face Punch Studios makes on Steam, and if you buy it for real, you actually have this little item that you can not render but craft inside of the game in Rust. So it's really cool that they brought that here. And yes, you can play it, and there's a little high scoreboard, and it will maintain. So if you go down into labs and you get to like level 16, your name will stay there until somebody else beats it. So that's pretty cool. New map controls and markers. Aquageddon Phase 1 brings important updates to map functionality. New controls let you easily switch between terrain layers, making it simple to find locations like the new underwater labs. Okay, I got a little thought here. You know what else comes with these underwater layers, or these different layers for like subterranean levels? Trains, tunnels, just saying. No official word from them yet, but, you know, that's weird, right? Right? Wink? Nudge? Wink? Okay. We've also added a new legend that explains the various map pins with filtering options to help you find specific locations. Again, if you want to get to these different layers, you go to the legend. And the map markers are great. You can use those for yourself, but you can also share them with your team. Awesome. Try out these new map features and see how they make Rust Council Edition experience even better. Here's Phase 2, everybody. Phase 2. With Aquageddon Phase 1 planned to launch May 30th, we're already gearing up for Phase 2, set to release on main branch. It says July here, but that's actually not the last Thursday, so I think they meant June. Probably by the time you guys watch this, it's probably already been put to June. Set to release on main branch June 27th, Phase 2 will hit public testing branch early next month, so essentially in like a week or less. Introducing a new ping system and the much anticipated tugboats. We'll dive into these exact additions in our next dev blog. So it is unclear whether or not this the tugboats will bring some of this more dynamic water, if it'll bring in our oil, I was like oil ship, the oil rig changes where we have a moon pool, or even the cargo ship changes where we can enter on the second level, and the harbor changes where the cargo ship comes and docks here at the harbor itself, which it gives people more opportunity to board, and it gives us a lot more crazy stuff here in the back. So not sure if that's what's going to be included. I'm sure we'll find out here pretty soon, but yeah, it's going to be a fantastic time. I know on our custom server we're going to have this loaded up. Just a quick public service announcement. Our times are typically like in the afternoon, but I expect maybe 2 to 3 hours extra on top of that, because sometimes these updates take a hot second, and we have a few issues that we have to iron out if everything goes as planned. So, you know, if you're on my custom server, yes, obviously we'll have these new, you know, underwater labs and everything else, but we kind of have to wait to see, you know, making sure everything's good. And we also had a problem with population. We had to stick it to 50. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so they got some cool questions that people have been asking that I think people will be interested in. It says, is there a possibility of the shop rotation being every week or more frequent? The shop does rotate every week, single items and then new packs. At the moment, changing the schedule is not in our priorities, but it might happen in the future. And it says, are you guys going to bring out more hazmat skins? And it says, yes. Our plan is to have our plan is to have one new hazmat skin per year. We should have a new one coming out later this year. Awesome. Here's a good one. Our backpacks in the dev for Rust console. This is something that players really want to see in game, and we will look into it for sure. It says we'll be sharing our content plans for the rest of the year, possibly in a couple months, so be on the lookout for that. Here's one about a bug that's been kind of plaguing us for a hot second. It says, when can we expect to see a patch for the glitch where walls are still visually there after they've been destroyed? It says, we're currently investigating this. It is quite a complex bug, but we aim to have a fix for this in the future. It says, bear with us. So that's what we have so far up to this point. So it's pretty much what we thought it was going to be. I'm glad they finally came out and actually gave us an official time, right? Because we knew we were going to get wipes today on main branch. So I was like, we got to have the update, right? Like, they don't just hard wipe for nothing on monthlies. So, man, I cannot wait for the labs to hit main branch. I think you guys are going to love it. I think you guys are going to love the new Submarines. And I'm really, really out of my mind excited for this tugboat and the fact that it's a mobile base. And there's going to be so many fun interactions like boat-to-boat combat. It's going to be a Sea of Thieves in Rust. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be so good. Cannot wait for it. Also, if you are looking for the secret that we found deep within the labs when we were playing on Testing Branch, it should already be up on the end screen now. And hopefully we'll see you in the next live stream / video or on the custom server. Love you. Bye. Oof, oof.